Picking up a U-Haul truck and a car dolly, and picking up a 67 Cougar GT. There it is.
Almost in the cornfield.
Wow, check that thing out. Holy crap, it's like a barn find. Pathetic, the quality of this stuff. I have the original rotor dust shields here. These have been painted. These are the original ones off the car. Disc brake caliper brackets here. New bearings, front, inner outer. This seal, original hardware, dust caps, the actual rotor nut and cover and stuff. Here's a brand new rotor. I have the other one right there. And also pick up this little grease packer right here. First time using one of these. So I was watching a video trying to get an idea how to use it. I'm probably going to use my Mobile One grease. And yeah, I'm going to start working on installing caliper brackets and a shield. And then I'm going to pack the bearings and we'll put on a new rotor.
Actually, that might work.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Oh, look, it's coming out. See?
Oh yeah. Do a little.
So that's probably. This is a lot harder than I thought it'd be. I guess grease is pretty thick, and there's not much room for it, so it makes sense. Boom. All right. I'm thinking that means it's ready. Give him a shot, I bet. So it did work. Required a lot more force than I would have suspected. There is the packed bearing. I can tell that this would be a total pain to do this by hand, so I'm glad I got this bearing packer thing. Now we're gonna put this on the wheel. There we go. And there it is. Quick close-up shot of the rotor. Once again, these are West Coast Cougar. I didn't go for the two, or I should say the pair. West Coast Cougar had a front rotor pair package. It was like $200, but they were drilled and slotted, and I didn't like how that was. I didn't like that because that's not factory, so I decided to go with these. They're sold individually, a little more, like ended up being like $30 more for both rotors, but I figured probably a little bit better quality, so I think that's worthwhile. I installed the center link and idler arm last week sometime, not necessarily knowing how this bushing worked. Probably should have done more research. Anyway, I tightened this down and realized that the bushing, when this is tight, doesn't really allow the center link to move that much. It kind of springs it back. And after further research, I realized that that's how it's supposed to be. I did force it to move a couple rounds. I'm hoping I didn't ruin the bushing on the arm. I can always get a new one and press a new one in, but for now I'm just gonna leave it loose. I'm going to work on installing the control valve here. I did read somewhere else that the measurement from the tie rod hole, where the tie rod mounts, the ball stud should be 4 7/8 inches. So that's my goal. That's what I'm going to go for, and we'll see how it works out. Look at the manual, and it shows that the distance between the center of the tie rod and the center of the stud here should be 4.88 plus minus 5, so 4.83 to 4.93. So let's see where I'm at. .87. So I think that right there is good. I'm going to put the little locking pin in wherever it went. There it is. And then tighten this thing up. So here's the final product. You can see the little pin right there. I hope this is the right way to do it. I don't see anything really holding that little pin in, except for maybe the pressures from the side. So yeah, I'll probably do some more research on this just to confirm that's correct. But as of right now, the distance is fine, and I think I'm gonna leave it as is for now. So I got the steering for the most part hooked up. Obviously it's not properly aligned, but I did do I adjusted both tie rods. Has a pretty rough alignment right now, but I think it's enough to just roll it in and out of the garage. Pretty happy with how it's looking. Actually, the idler arm is pretty straight, and at the moment I think the steering box is middle, meaning that the steering will be straight. It's kind of hard to tell because there's no steering wheel on it, but I'm just guessing at this point, but I think it's looking fine for the stage I'm at. So, and here's how the wheel is looking. So relatively straight tire on this side. The other side is a little bit worse. The tire rod needs to be adjusted on this side, but work in progress. Yeah, you can see that one a little bit tilted back. But yeah, the car is not far from being able to roll. I need to torque up ball joints, upper lower. Strut rods need to be torqued, at least the lower arms. The front nuts, I'm gonna tighten them, but I'll leave that for the alignment guy. And yeah, I mean, the front end's really coming together. Obviously I gotta put the coil spring in still. I know it's kind of dark in here, but yeah, it's super happy. Really close to having the car rolling. Should be rolling pretty soon. I have the original shackle off the passenger side. I ended up replacing the reproduction shackle I had for the driver's side with the original one, which is why I have one left. Reason behind that is, I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but another complaint with Eaton, I went to torque these to proper torque, which is not much. It's like 20 pounds. I think it's like 15 to 25. And I stripped both the upper and the lower mounts on, stripped the threads on these. So kind of pathetic, the quality of this stuff. Plus I was even able to bend it in by hand. So as you can tell, it's it's not perfectly straight, it's a little bit tweaked. So pretty sad quality on this stuff. I don't recommend getting like an installation kit from Eaton. The springs so far I'm happy with, but in terms of like hardware, bushings I haven't had any complaints with, but just the hardware, U-bolts, eyelet bolts, now the shackles, not good. And I have not received a email back from Eaton. I've emailed them twice whether or not to put this back on the passenger side. It wasn't too big of a job to put it on the driver's side. Kind of annoying, but it's doable. I do always prefer original stuff over reproduction. I just thought that having all new suspension stuff would be a good idea, but I guess in this case it wasn't. So anyway, that's still in the thinking process. Maybe do it, maybe not. And yeah, but the car's really coming together. Super close to having it rolling. Once it's rolling, I'll be able to roll it out for the first time in probably over 2 years, 2.5 years. And my dad and I are going to start working on the floor pan and getting the floor pan welded up, getting that patch. And then from there, it's smooth sailing. Just put the engine in, fuel, all that stuff. So I also did send my carburetor off to J&J carburetors. They're in La Mirada. So after doing a bit more research, I decided I'd just hand tight the nut here, and then do just a little bit of the wrench, just a tiny bit, just a little bit past hand tight. And so now the rotor spins pretty freely, and I think that's the right spot for it to be.
Bolt, which I believe adjusts camber for the suspension. It was facing the wrong direction. The hole was more like on the left side, facing outward with a jack, and I jacked up the inside, and I was able to turn this pretty freely. And now I'm going to tighten this down. Here is the side that I haven't touched yet. You can see how the other side looked. So this one I'm going to do the same thing, jack it up and rotate it.
So I'm at the point where I can finally install the front coil springs on the Cougar GT sitting here. I have replacement springs from Eaton. They've been in the box for a while and they're ready to go on. I have the insulators here. I have this compressor I got from AutoZone. I have two different compressors. One is this one, another one is a double claw with the claw on the bottom, claw on the top. This one has this flat thing on the bottom. Supposedly this is safer than the double claw. Probably not the best one. I think the best one is the one that bolts through to the lower perch. Regardless, this is what I have, and I'm hoping I can use this and do it safely. So that's the plan, that's the goal. So yeah, I think pretty much the springs are ready to go in. Everything's tightened down. They should be tightened down, torqued. And yeah, my dad will be here pretty soon, and we're gonna put them in together. All right, so my dad and I managed to get both of the coil springs in.